Mangold Insight is interviewing Helge Olsen, CEO and co-founder of Resqunit. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. Before I started with Resqunit, I founded a few companies in the past. The first company I founded was a company called eTrip. We developed and sold GPS monitoring systems for company vehicles to show locations and to create driver's logs from vehicles. And I sold that company after having ran that for about 5 or 6 years. Sold that to the biggest competitor I had in the Norwegian market called Abax. After that, I founded a company called Shield. That was my own invention, where I invented a sensor for detecting scratches and dents on vehicles. And that was aimed for the car rental industry, where they have a hard time finding out who made the damages to the vehicle. So with my system, they could identify the scratches and dents as they happened and get reports from that system, so they could handle the damages as the vehicles were returned to the stations. Yeah, so that's kind of my professional background before I started with Resqunit.
Perfect. And why did you choose to found Resqunit?
Well, it was interesting. I just sold that second company that I talked about, and a person that I know approached me with some sketches and some ideas to the product that is now to be known as Resqunit. And he wondered if he had seen what I'd done before, and he wondered if I could pitch in and help with the business side of things. And I looked at the product, and I didn't actually know anything about the ghost fishing problem and the pollution problem that entails from the fishing industry. But the more I looked, the more I found it interesting, and also to see that there are tightening regulations around fishing, both recreational and professional fishing. So there were a lot of exciting components, I thought, to this product, and that is part, and also the impact that a company like this will have. I thought that was very enticing, and decided to give it a go.
Yeah. And you're talking about ghost fishing. What is ghost fishing?
Ghost fishing is when you lose a trap, because fishing gear is designed to catch and kill, and when you lose your fishing gear, it continues to do that. When these lost fishing gear continues to fish, animals are being trapped, and they starve to death, and they become bait for the second generation, who then die and become bait to the third generation, and so on. So that is what is known as ghost fishing.
And what is your product that is addressing this problem?
Well, the initial product we had was a simple, just a backup buoy system. So when you lose that trap, after a certain amount of time, a backup buoy floats up so you can retrieve that lost pots. Because one of the reasons why these pots get lost is that maybe a boat ran over your line or your buoy, cut your buoy. Your trap could fall off a cliff and go to deeper water, and then to have a backup system where you can get a second chance to get back your gear. And also at the same time as the backup buoy releases, it also opens up the trap so it doesn't ghost fish anymore. Then later on, we started to play around with the idea of including sensors in the unit, because there is some research around showing the different movements or the movement from the different species based on temperature, based on salinity, and different parameters. So we thought if we could learn more and start using data to give some kind of directions to the fishermen on where to fish and when to fish, and maybe reduce their resources spent for their fishing, we thought that was an exciting thing to start to test out, and that's where we are now. We now are equipping our units with sensors, so we can collect temperature, pressure, and salinity, and oxygen, and moving forward, combining this with known research, we think we can now provide some valuable understanding to the fishermen. But also when you have data, it's not only to the fishermen. You have climate research organizations, you have environmental organizations, you have a lot of companies like weather forecasters and other big data companies that have shown great interest in ocean data as well. So that is kind of our product focus moving forward.
Perfect. And how is the market outlook?
Well, on the fishing side, as I told you, we see that the markets have matured a lot just in the last 5 years. The awareness around sustainability, the fishermen see their quotas going down. Excuse me. They see their quotas going down, and I think it's a broad understanding that we need to do something now in a sustainable way. So for the fishermen, we see that the market outlook is looking very good, and the regulations that are coming and tightening are working to our advantage. And then you have, of course, the data play that I talked about. I think ocean data is going to be huge in the future. They say we know less about our own oceans than we do about the planet Mars, and there's something to that. And the ocean and its resources being as important as it is for humanity, I think learning more about the oceans is crucial moving forward.
Resqunit is getting listed on the First North Growth Market on the 26th of November. Why are you going public?
Well, besides the obvious, of course, you gain access to capital markets. You get access to other financial instruments that you wouldn't otherwise have. It helps us to scale up and to grow our company faster. But also in Resqunit, we have a broad shareholders base. We have funded our operations previously through more kind of like crowdfunding share issues. We went from 5 to 78 shareholders on the first round, and then to 275, and now we are 550 shareholders. So providing that shareholder experience with the liquidity and the flexibility that it gives to be on NASDAQ, I think that is a wonderful thing.
And do you have any final comments?
Yeah, I think the timing for Resqunit is just perfect. With the awareness that we see not only in the fishing industry, but you have big data, you have regulations, you have awareness around all aspects of environmentalism. UN declared this decade the ocean decade, and we see funding programs from the European Union, among others. They set aside quite big amounts of money for where ocean data is actually one of their main areas of focus. So I think both on the funding opportunities, on the market side, I think things are looking very bright in our coming future.